video is brought to you by Letsynthesize Academy, the #1 place for practice-oriented courses for serious music producers.
Yo, there Larson here, welcome to the newest Synthesize Sunday episode. Today I want to show you 2 things that I've been missing heavily and you can improve your workflow like crazy through this little thing I made. Like always, you can grab this whole project from my Patreon below and click here for my academy. I have very nice start to finish courses, but right now let's jump into it. Okay, so here is the groove once again. The bass itself is very dumb. Let me show it to you without the rack. Let's go through the operator preset. It's really dumb, so I'm using a sine wave modulated by an 8 course higher sine wave and a course 4 sine wave, and oscillator B is detuned a little, so that is what gives the wobbleness when we go higher. You can hear that it this is because of the detuning. And I'm also using filter drives, as you can see I choose the OSR and the shaper, the sine shaper here, to add some more distortion to it. But the real magic happens when I activate the rack. It's so evil and so aggressive. So there are two things that I love here and want to show you guys. The first thing is this distortion plugin called Rift. So Rift is a really nice plugin, and what makes it really special, I would say, is that you can add different type of distortion on the positive and on the negative phase of the sound, and that is really unique. I mean, this plugin is not designed to create very crazy distortions, but what it does is very unique, and I love its modulation features. You can use curves, LFOs, and even pitch follow. It's really great. Also some filters, feedbacks, and that is again very unique kind of thing. So that is a really nice thing to have, because without that as you can hear, it adds some nice touch to it. So it's not very aggressive, not too crazy, but what it does is, I would say, really cool. Also from minimal audio, and this is what I miss from basically every EQ plugin, is the possibility to add very unique and complex modulations on the EQ curves. So for example, what I can do here with the Ableton EQ is to add, let's just say I want to use the 5th one, map the frequency to macro 1. So I can set a minimum and a maximum value, and that is all. So there is no chance to add, like for example, start here on the half of it, I want to maximize the frequency, and when I get to the maximum, I want to go back to 0. Just the easiest way. And what I also cannot do is select all the EQ dots and just modulate them this way, so all of them at the same time. I just can't do that, or I need to use very complex modulation. I don't want that. So in MorphEQ, it's very simple and crazy good. Just take the shift, and as you can see, it modulates the whole thing by once. It solves so many problems. Come on, I'm missing this feature for so long, and MorphEQ is crazy good in doing that. It's very simple, very effective. It's crazy what it can do. Also, it has a pinch feature where you can tweak the distance between the EQ dots. Also, it is a very nice feature. You can go and make some stereo EQing kind of stuff and scaling. We also have it in EQ8, but the Morph feature is it's just so cool. Come on, I love this kind of thing. Let me just show it to you very fast how you can tweak that. Double click to create an EQ. So let's call this like low pass, and if you hold on Control and click somewhere, you can create this kind of shape. So as you morph through the shape, you can create very complex modulations. We can even use 4 or even more EQ dots, that is the possibilities are endless. It's so cool that you have only one or maximum two knobs that you can use to create your own crazy modulations. It's just, I cannot tell you how happy I am that Minimal Audio was kind enough to pass me over these plugins, because this saves me tons of time. I highly recommend you to do that. Anyway, so with the MorphEQ, what I did here is I automated the morph and the shift. Let me show you to what it does as I go through the sound. As you can see, basically I'm using only two knobs, the morph and the shift. When I go to the end of the loop, I'm only changing the shift to create a little sweepier kind of sound only at the end of the modulation. But during the loop, I create the articulation of the sound using only the Morph EQ with the morph knob. And as you can see, the modulation is not that crazy, but it's crazy what it does to the sound. So without that, there's no life. It's a very static sound, but with some crazy EQ modulation. And I haven't even went mental with this. So these are crazy good plugins. I highly recommend them to you guys. So let's go through the process. So the first is the Morph EQ. So I'm using two instances from the same sound. The first is only the sub. I'm keeping this only for the low end because I chopped off the lows on the high band. So this is how it sounds without the process. So I added the Morph EQ. I'm sure that you can hear the little peaks, the EQ peaks. And this is very important, especially before distortion. So this is where I need to say that I put this Morph EQ before the distortion. So I first started distorting the sound and went back and applied the Morph EQ. So I haven't started the sound by simply putting the EQ and expected some cool behavior after distortion. No, I first distort and then I go back with the EQ modulation. And when I added the distortions, I found out that these frequencies need to be tamed, and also I announced to crunch the sound a lot more with the low band, on the low band and on the mids. So this is why I boosted these sounds. Now it sounds weird, but with the distortion it gets into live. Then I added the note-city. Then a wave shaper in Ableton saturator. Then a high pass. Then together with the sub, I had to EQ it a little, so I did a little more sub, tamed the mid-lows, the mids, and I wanted to cut the very highs to not bleed our ears. And this is all, and a saturator to the end, and the utility is only for the sidechain. The Morph EQ and Rift together, for neuro heads like you guys, it's a very, very nice solution. Okay, so grab this project from my Patreon below and click here for my academy for awesome source fish courses. I was Letsynthesize. See you guys next time. Peace!